And War No More, Alan, saw Foghat 3 times. I think I saw Foghat at least twice, but I remember I saw them as a headliner. And Methadone for Life commented on the music too. He says, today's music for the most part, and this is what I was talking about earlier, 99.9% sucks and isn't really music at all. You're sounding like an old man, Methadone for Life. I'm just teasing you. You know, I was expressing the same thing myself. But I do like Fountains of Wayne. And I found something called The 88, which has nothing to do with the white supremacist 88, like stands for Heil Hitler or anything like that. The 88, which is a new band out of Los Angeles that I read about in the paper and went online and listened to some clips, and they sounded very cool. And as soon as I can afford it, I might buy their CD or rip it off the internet. No, anyway, maybe. Cheers. I prefer pre-80s and really have started to enjoy electric blues. I can count on my hands the number of songs made since 2000 that I actually can listen to. Talentless drones. That is most of today's young musicians. Yeah, Methadone for Life. Don't hold back on your opinions now. Yeah, but isn't that what it's about? Isn't that what it's about, going on YouTube and expressing our opinions? Yes, it is. I'm just teasing you. Delta Gobshite left a nice comment on Fez Night Part 6, and she says, the idea of wealth trickling down is just absolute bullshit. 90% of the wealth is held by 10% of the world population, which leaves the remaining 10% to be shared out amongst 90% of the population. Where's the justice in that? And I agree. There's a couple of new books out. I didn't say my LA Times, but there's 2 new books out about George Orwell that was being reviewed in the LA Times, and it got me thinking, because at one point when I could afford to buy, here I go talking about how poor I am, but at one point I joined a book club, and it was quality paperback books, which is a big mistake, because I ended up buying books that I was never going to read, but I did buy some quality paperback books of George Orwell and read some of his essays. I remember one called Shooting an Elephant. And when I got on YouTube, I found out there were a lot of conservatives that were, because George Orwell would be considered a liberal leftist thinker, okay? And yet he got in trouble with his own group of leftist intellectuals because he was anti-communist. He saw what Stalin was up to and wrote about 1984, and Animal Farm is a lot to do with, well, more in 1984 is to do with fascism in general, I believe, and Animal Farm is pretty directed at Stalinist communism, Stalinist communism, I might call it. And so a lot of people on the right quote George Orwell, but they don't fully understand that if you know George Orwell advocated a socialist democracy. That's what he was about. He understood the need for sharing the wealth or redistributing wealth. He understood that. He understood that the follies of pure capitalism. And if he would have lived longer, I'm sure he died at 46. You know, I was in 46 too long ago. And I still think I have some things to say. And I'm sure George Orwell, if he lived longer, would have had a lot more to say. And if it would have come full circle, I think he would have dealt with capitalism. But at that period in history, when he was alive, capitalism wasn't really the big evil, of the day. It was, in a sense, there were evils of capitalism you have to acknowledge. Otherwise, communism would have not been able to get a foothold if people didn't clearly see the follies, the follies in capitalism. So, for me, a social democracy would be not like communism, not like Stalinist Russia, but a socialist democracy would be better than what we have now. And there would be elements of capitalism. Capitalism is a good thing, It just needs to be, can't be let go unfettered. It needs restraints. Laws have to be placed on it. Hey, that's my opinion.